Know this about taking naps or not. Today I'm addressing the topic of daytime napping. I've been a clinical psychologist for 8 years, and this is what I know. Today I want to talk about taking naps during the day. Whether you should nap or not is of course up to you, but here are some of the insights I share with my clients when they ask me if they should take naps during times of fatigue. If you're tired, you take a napper, you don't go to napper, is one of my favorite quotes from Sex and the City. But is it that simple? My answer has to be both yes and no. If you're tired, then take a nap sounds logical, especially if the alternative is engaging in overthinking about an extreme project of life-changing or self-editing. When we're fatigued, it's easier to fall into thought spirals of negative self-thinking and hopelessness, and taking a nap is of course better than continuing overthinking sad thoughts. When people are mentally exhausted, it's not uncommon for them to start ruminating about themselves and their lives in general, and this can, if we do it long enough, lead to feelings of hopelessness and self-critique. You might have tried it, where you were very exhausted and everything seemed a disaster and unmanageable. In this case, I would subscribe to the grandmother advice of try and sleep on it and see how it looks tomorrow. When we're exhausted, it's not the best time to plan or judge what to do with ourselves and our lives. Important matters like self and life edits are better to be postponed to a day when we feel more stable. I'm sure I'll make another video about why we should not plan or self-edit when we're not our best selves, read tired, off, or unstable. But for this video, let's keep it to talking about napping. So if your alternative to taking a nap in that moment is to ruminate and plan to change everything about yourself and your life, I would say sure, better to take a nap. But just to skip the rumination desperation part, to not make it worse. Because otherwise, I wouldn't say that a nap helps you. When I'll now let you in on the problems I see with napping. I'm talking about napping for my clients from the western part of the world. Because for them, I often see that napping creates more problems than they help. For people from the more southern parts, taking a midday nap during the hottest hours can be normal. For those who are used to it and have fitted their lifestyle with napping, I do not see the same problems arise. So to nap or not to nap? Here again, I'm not talking about what to do for toddlers or infants, but what to do and why for adults. One problem with napping is that it's not resting. Napping consists of sleeping and not resting. My experience with my clients is that they take naps during times of a lot of emotional distress. The nap is the only time when they relax and are free of their stress and negative or anxious thoughts. Using sleep as a pause button or escape from life is not an uncommon strategy, but it's not the best strategy. Just like overeating or drinking to escape your problems of the mind are not the best strategies. Being able to regulate emotions and deal with our mind or thoughts while being awake is important for mental health. Using sleep as the only tool leads us to not acquire the tools to deal with our emotional issues in the awake state. And because sleeping is often difficult when we're under emotional distress, then relying on this tool can be impractical. Being able to control the mind to deal with our stress, worries, overthinking, and rumination is key to a balanced mental health. Learning to deal with our mental states when we're awake is important, both so that we can help ourselves when we're off, but also it gives us peace of mind to know that we're able to do so we don't have to fear coming out of it. Because when we know how to deal with something, we're less likely to fear it. I hope that makes sense. Using something such as napping to control our mind states makes us feel like we're not able to control our mind. Becoming unconscious through sleep is not the same as mastering mind control. It might work short term because it does stop you panicking or ruminating if you're able to fall asleep. But having a life that consists of stressing when awake and then sleep is not consistent with well-being. As learning to take breaks and rest in a conscious state is one of the 4 basics for mental health. Using napping when you're not okay can have the consequence in the long run of you not acquiring the skills to control your mind. It will likely also signal to you that you're not able to handle when your mind is unstable and make you fear emotional distress more. Because of this, it's my opinion that practicing resting instead of napping is a better habit to form. So when you're feeling exhausted, maybe rest your body while resting your mind. Don't sleep, but rest. Follow my channel for more videos coming up on how to rest, or check out one of my me time videos. Another argument for it being better to take a rest than a nap is that daytime sleeping is likely to affect our nighttime sleeping. I've often seen with my clients that what can be problematic about napping is that it will affect their nighttime sleeping needs or abilities. That napping can cause sleep disturbances for them. If you sleep during the day, you'll likely fall asleep later in the evening or have problems falling asleep altogether. Biorhythm, or what we're used to, is also a factor. For humans, changing our sleeping patterns is a bit stressful for the body, and unless we're used to having midday naps as a part of a regular pattern, it will cause a disturbance. In times when we're not okay, it's first and foremost primary to not stress out our mind any further. This is logical, isn't it? If changing your sleep routine is stressful, and stress makes us feel worse, then maybe skip this in times when you're not okay. Of course, you can get used to most things. In some cultures, napping during the day is a part of normal life. For example, in Southern Europe, it used to be common during midday break or siesta. Their sleeping during the hottest hours of the day after lunch made sense to them, and then their schedule stretched more into the evening, for example later work hours, later dinner, and later bedtime. In Northern Europe, where it's colder, it's been more common to be awake during the light hours and sleep when it was too dark to work. In modern times, it seems that also Southern Europeans are skipping the midday nap. If you're used to napping as a part of your habit or biorhythm, then don't change this during periods of stress. If you want to make some changes, for example to do siestas or start skipping siestas as a part of your life, this will likely come with other necessary life changes. And while this is totally fine, then wait to do life changes or edits until you're okay. Okay? If you don't have a sleep problem or current emotional problem, then do what you want. But if you're struggling with mental health, then don't rely on naps. And if you're having problems sleeping in the evening, then naps are not your friend. I think this was all we had time for. What was your takeaway from today's video? As always, feel free to take away the information you can use, if any, and leave the rest. Hopefully you found that today's topic made sense and I didn't waste your time. Please subscribe or like this video so my channel can grow. Take care and see you for the next one.